My contribution to the team was I actually helped formulate this team. Pretty happy with the team that we put together. I think we did a great job. And my focus during this was kind of a macro view, and along with specified in the healthcare industry.
My name is Hunter Bourgeois. I'm a first try as well, and my focus was on lighting. I'm an actual lighting specialist.
Hi, my name is Carl Ferrand. I took care of the consumer lifestyle department, and I used to be an engineer, so I'm a contact.
Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Zeng. I'm from France, exchange student from ESSEC Business School, and I took care of the strategy of the company.
My name is Tim Badling. I focused on healthcare and the brand involved.
I ask that you guys use a mic if you can. There's a couple mics up there.
Do we need to, or can we just project?
You don't need to.
Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Special thanks to the Philips board as well for being here. We are the Soothsayers Consultancy. My name is Brian Dempsey, and as you've already been introduced to my team, Ms. Zhang, Mr. Bourgeois, Mr. Al-Khalan, and Mr. Badley. And we are here this morning to express to Philips that this financial crisis that they are facing is not so much a challenge, but really a rare opportunity. And we believe that implementing our strategies today will help Philips emerge from this economic downturn as a leader in healthcare and well-being. And our following recommendations, our core recommendations today are as follows. First, Philips must focus its core competencies on empowering its consumers and its customers. Secondly, it must continue to invest in innovative technologies and green technologies with LED lights. And lastly, and most importantly, Philips must aggressively pursue, during this economic downturn, building themselves when they emerge as a leading brand in the future of healthcare and well-being. Ms. Zhang is going to present to you next on the background and the opportunities that are going to face Philips.
Thank you, Brian. To better sustain your company, our consulting group conducted a thorough study about company background. Then we analyzed the internal and external environment your company faces. First, 5 years prior to the crisis, Philips has a different strategy. It was technology-driven. This means that the division outlook for the next innovation. That caused your portfolio to be so diverse and fragmented that customers could not identify a strong brand from your product. Then your company was also scaled and focused only on revenue. Then your CEO, Mr. Kleisferli, changed and transformed Philips into a leaner, stronger company. Your company started to focus on meaningful technology which makes sense and had simplicity. Under this transformation, Philips communicated Vision 2010, which positioned the company into 3 new waves: people-centric, market-driven, with a well-balanced portfolio between professional and consumers. You also consolidated all your existing products into 3 new lines: healthcare, lighting, and consumer lifestyle. Vision 2010 strengthens Philips' commitment to sustainability and customer centricity. However, right after communicating Vision 2010, it was immediately tested by the financial crisis. I will highlight 3 different things that your company experienced. First, as we see, the main market was severely affected by the financial crisis. United States and European Union, which represent almost 50% of your revenue in 2007. Second point, the financial crisis affected individual customers as well. As we see, the credit market collapsed and reduced the discretionary spending of your customers and hurts your revenue and your margin. Third, with your main market being staggered by the crisis, your vision turned into emerging markets. China is projected here to have 8.9% disposable income growth from 2008 to 2030. Philips had to continue to increase its scope in China through strategic partnerships.
So Philips' main challenge is managing their company in this very volatile external environment. It's managing these 3 pillars. And first we have to get through the financial crisis. So we've put together a timeline to essentially take these three pillars and increase the synergies between them, so in the long term, Philips is able to consolidate its company into and achieve the long-term commitment to sense and simplicity. And we will talk about each specific pillar: lighting, consumer lifestyle products, and healthcare, specifically in the following sections. But we'll first start out with lighting, which is their oldest product line, and represents 25% of their revenues in 2007. Now, first, focus on customers. In the short term, currently, or in the recent past, Philips has been decreasing incandescent lights. They've divested in many factories. And I think they had 20, and now they're down to 7 over a span of about 7 years. However, with the onslaught of the credit crunch, many of the consumers who purchase incandescent lights, the majority of, actually 90%, are residential consumers. They will not be able to afford CFLs, which is the compact fluorescent lights, or the LEDs, which are 8 to 10 times more expensive than the incandescent lights. So our recommendation is to hold off on divesting completely in the incandescent lighting arena. Instead, outsource it into China, where you can grab a little bit of a foothold there and also reduce your costs and reduce your risks. However, there are government regulations coming up. They're already in effect in Europe in 2007, and they're coming into effect in the US in 2014 that will phase out incandescent lights. By outsourcing now, we are becoming more flexible to phase out totally in incandescents in the future after the credit crunch is done. Now, the next action is to acquire and consolidate the LED and CFL markets. Now, again, one of our focuses is to become a greener company. And while we're not necessarily doing that immediately in the incandescent front, we are researching and developing in LEDs and the CFL markets as well. Now, when I say consolidate, what we're really looking into doing is purchasing the Chinese manufacturers of LEDs. And the reason for that is currently Philips is #1 in the LED and CFL markets. However, the cheaper Chinese manufacturers are coming in and taking up some of our market share. If we can enter into the Chinese market through these acquisitions, we can also take advantage of the increased spending power of the Chinese populace as well, increasing our own brand image there. And finally, focus on installation of innovative lighting solutions. We actually acquired Genlight a few years ago. I think actually it was this year. And we opened up a new area of lighting where we can focus on the end customer, which is more the businesses who will be looking for these more energy-saving solutions. We want to work closely with them, provide packages, and really take their environments and give them a complete solution. And now I'm going to hand it over to Carl. He's going to talk about consumer lifestyle products.
So similar to lighting, you will expect similar results within the consumer lifestyle department. You will achieve this by doing three things. First, you will have to evaluate the performance of each division. Second, you will have to implement short-term solutions. And third, you will have to prepare for the long-term strategy. So concerning the consumer electronics and domestic appliances, we know that they are underperforming. And so what we propose is to outsource them so that you can ensure royalties, similar to the television, exactly what you do. This way, so as I said, this way you will ensure the royalties and therefore have less risk concerning the crisis. Concerning the personal care, since it's one of our very strong core competencies and it is a performing division, we propose to you, you have to propose these products within the packages that you're selling for the hospitals. This way you will increase your product line, and we expect that hospitals will need shavers hair dryers, etc., while buying equipment. Finally, so implementing these 3 short-term solutions will help you multiply by 2 your revenues within 3 years by maintaining minimal cost. So this will allow you to comply with Vision 2010. On the long term, we want you to phase out any product that is not adding value to the final strategy, the final healthcare experience, and we want you to focus on the synergy within the 3 divisions that will allow this new healthcare experience that Tim will present to us.
Thank you, Carl. We're going to follow up with talking about healthcare from 2 perspectives. Number 1 from the business perspective, and then the customer-centric perspective. First of all, regarding healthcare, there are 2 factors that we need to keep in mind in terms of the market that's here right now and will be here in the future, in the next 20 to 30 years. First of all, we'll talk about China. Second of all, the baby boomers. In China, as you can see on our graph right here, even though they did have a decreased growth rate over, or projected growth rate up to 2013, and the United States has an increase in growth rate, you can see the magnitude that China has in terms of its GDP, almost 4 times that of the United States. As well, in terms of the baby boomer population, in 2030, it's projected that baby boomers will account for 44 million in terms of the acute health care that is going to be necessary. Now, comparing that to our current values of hospital beds, according to Stanford, they believe that you will need at least 238,000 new beds to be able to fit that need. What does that translate to? If we use current standards and ratios, that's about 1,500 new hospitals that you're going to need to build to be able to get that need. Now, what happens after the baby boomers pass? You have all these extra hospitals. So, what are hospitals dealing with right now? Should we build or should we not build? That's where Philips comes in. Now, your competitors are dealing from a forefront that they should improve the hospital environment, the hospital care. But you guys are on the right track. Home health care. Home health care is the way, and that's how our strategies that we are proposing to you are going to help you. First of all, working towards concentrating on the B2B component, but focusing your energies towards the B2C component, going straight to the customer. Working through, moving down to research and development, developing your technology so it'll be ready in a way that it is available for the customer, for the customer in 20 years. As well, branding Philips as a leader, as the innovator of home health care. And with all due respect to my colleagues over here, Philips is not market driven, it is market driving. They're not going to settle to be the second one in the market, they're going to be the first. And that's what we're proposing. Moving to the next part is how is this going to affect our customers in terms of long-term vision. What we propose is taking our 3 segments, home health care, customer lifestyle, and life, through our recommendations, building the new healthcare experience, home health care. Our recommendations include focused core competencies on empowering customers, investing in green and innovative technologies, and building a leading brand in health and wellness. I'll tell you all right now, as you might understand, healthcare impacts every one of you. Either it's you directly, or it's going to be your parents, it's going to be your aunts or uncles. All will be impacted by this. Will you be willing to spend that extra money for it? Of course you will. Of course you will. And that's why Philips is on the right track to do this. And the stages that we suggest are threefold. Integration through strategic partnerships, working with both BRIC countries in manufacturing and entering into their markets through that. Number 2, through innovation, research and development, clinically, manufacturing, and finally, branding, showing how that Philips is a customer-centric, customer-focused organization that is building for its needs with the customers' needs in mind. And I tell you here, through our recommendations, I want to welcome you all to a new experience that will change the way we all think about healthcare. Thank you all very much.
Questions?
Go ahead.
Can you go back to the previous slide, please? What are Philips' core competencies?
Well, currently, right now, their core competencies are creating products that are customer focused. Well, that's what they're moving into with the Vision 2010. So those core arenas are the healthcare.
So the
like-
products they used to have were not customer focused?
I don't think fluorescent incandescent light bulbs were necessarily customer focused. I think they're leading into the LEDs.
TVs weren't customer focused?
They were technology driven, looking for the next product. As you can see when Jennifer presented her slides, they were looking for what was the next innovation. What are the innovations that came before that? CDs, DVD players. They were fragmented also in semiconductors. Now they just stopped and said, wait a second, who are we selling to? And that is the customer. In the 2010
Okay,
initiative.
good. Let me just finish my question. Focus core competencies on empowering customers. What does that mean? No offense, but that's exactly the kind of consultant speech that is meaningless.
Well,
Maybe you can help me understand what it means.
yeah. I would have loved to take that over there because it's empowering the customers to take hold of healthcare. That's what we're seeing by that. And yeah, that might be a strange comment or to think about, but healthcare right now, according to the baby boomers, because of their generation, they were taught that the physicians and hospitals told them how to deal with their healthcare. Then, when you come to the X generation, Y generation, and beyond, we realized that we can take control of our healthcare, and we can determine our needs. And so, through home healthcare, Philips will be doing the same exact thing that IKEA did, giving you the empowerment to take hold of your own personal healthcare.
Can I follow
Yes.
up on that as well? That question?
I'm good.
He's good. Go for it.
Brian, this question is for you.
Oh,
As a
thank you.
managing partner, A, why do you only have senior consultants on your team? That makes no sense. B, so before I ask my question, I do have a comment. Great job to you guys for actually making this a consulting presentation to the Philips board, because that's how you should approach it. And I thought this was an incredibly professional slide deck as well as presentation. It was very well articulated, and most of these images I've seen many times, and I know Dr. Ethan said it was too consulting, but this is very much a consulting deck, so well done for you for putting this together. But my question to you is really about China.
Okay.
Because it sounded like your analysis makes perfect sense, that the opportunities are in China, and then you talked about outsourcing, and what I thought was interesting is you showed the disposable income growing significantly as compared with the US and with Europe, but you talked about only outsourcing work to China versus actually focusing on selling your products in China. That didn't add up to me. That your trending was showing an increase in disposable income, but your strategy for China was to focus on growing your supply chain, your value chain operations, versus on actually leveraging what's growing with the consumer base. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, well, really, I mean, Philips comes down to like there are three strategies in deals with turning with these, in terms of dealing with these areas, right? It's fix, sell, or acquire. And what we think in terms of China is anything that is not necessarily related to what we do believe are Philips' core competencies, which are innovation. Okay, similar model to Apple. Anything that we don't need to manufacture ourselves, that we could outsource and kind of be the brains of it back in the Netherlands, that was kind of the strategy we were going towards. Now, also in terms of China, what we wanted to do in terms of healthcare in China was to gain a very strong foothold in that market. We have the innovation, we have the ability to acquire companies in there to gain that strong foothold inside China, that then therefore we can move forward with the large aging population and also the extremely large market that is going to be there as well in 2013.
Also,
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
in terms of lighting, one of the recommendations that we gave when we were saying acquire LED and CFL factories, those were actually, I was looking at strategically acquiring high LED brands, very well-known brands within China, So not just manufacturing for export, but actually developing our own brands within.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And then one more, by strategically partnering within these particular BRIC countries, we are inserting ourselves into those markets to be prepared so that we will be able to deliver those services.
You guys did a good job focusing on the external formulating market, that external environment, and things that were happening in the environment that were going to impact all three of the product lines that are going on here, so I really appreciate that. You really did start out very, very strongly. But then you ended up sort of like regurgitating case data at a point when you sort of lost me at that point, okay? As opposed to staying strong and, you know, telling us, leading us where we need to go. It was sort of like, all right, now show us what the case told you, as opposed to, all right, let's get on with where we're going with this whole thing. Your whole emphasis on China is correct. You know, aging population, no question what's going to happen over there. The thing that is going to actually make that even more important is that more and more Chinese are, the older people are being left alone, as opposed to the children taking care of them. So anything that's going to fill that care gap because of the social dynamics of the country is going to be a huge market opportunity, you know, as far as that goes. You were right to start talking about tuck-in acquisitions, you know, that you could just buy and tuck in and do great big huge things, you know, it makes sense about that. You almost lost me when you started talking about beds in hospitals, okay? From the point of view, I thought, are we going to encourage Philips to start building hospitals, you know, to fill this, you know, this huge gap that we see. And then you take me into, you know, the home health care thing, which again makes, you know, completely total obvious sense. So, you know, I will say that, you know, your presentation was consultant oriented and almost went off over the edge at the end. I need to tone it down.
Just a little.
Just a little, okay? From that point of view, I felt like I was being sold an old Chevrolet before it goes. Okay? So, let's just be sensitive to the way that that strength of yours comes across before it's over with. Anybody else got any other comments? Bro?
Yeah, if I was a Chinese potential strategic partner, and I saw your presentation, I'd run through, because you have on there your prime objective is to build a Philips brand. Why would I want to help you build a Philips brand?
We have the innovation in terms of medical devices that you do not.
That's fine, but I've got the Chinese market. So let's, you know, why should I build a Philips brand? Because I build a Philips brand and then you cut me loose. I have to make myself indispensable. The way I can make myself indispensable is to build a Chinese brand.
Understood.
So I think you're inconsistent. I don't think you can sort of say we're going to enter China with these strategic partnerships and then say, and our real objective is to build a Philips brand.
We won't talk about that. I mean, the presentation will be different when you're going to present.
You're going to lie to your strategic partner.
Sorry?
You're going to lie to your strategic
No,
partner.
you're going to be nice, but show him something. Positive.
You're going to lie to your strategic partner.
Well, I think the value added proposition that we give them is the innovation that they're not able to do on their own.
Right.
If they have the manufacturing side, we have the innovation side. This partnership is a two-way street. So us acquiring these companies and going in and letting them use, to a degree, the Philips brand, I think is something that they would be interested in, although we would be collecting the
I think you